Good morning again. I am Mark Winton, and I am Eric's youngest brother. There are actually four of us Winton boys, and the amazing thing about us Winton boys is all of us have served in the military. And then another amazing thing about our family is that my brothers and I, we are the fourth generation of officers that have served our military. Now, in our military, we've got kind of half Army and half Air Force. My father, Dr. Harold R. Winton, Lieutenant Colonel retired from the Army, actually teaches at the School of Advanced Air Power Studies at Maxwell Air Force Base. Of course, Eric is retiring today after 23 years of faithful service in the Air Force. Doug currently is serving in Afghanistan. My brother Dan was enlisted armor for 4 years and is currently in our hometown of Leavenworth, Kansas. And I currently serve in the Army at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And we also have a cousin who's almost like a brother to us, who's currently serving on active duty in the United States Air Force, also at Maxwell Air Force Base at this time. So, and it's amazing to think about even our grandfather and our great uncle, who are very dear to Eric and to myself and our whole family. Gramps, Walter, was an Army, served in the Army in World War II, and our great uncle, Uncle Tyler, he served in the United States Army Air Corps, also in World War II. So just kind of an amazing blending of these Army and Air Force families that have served throughout the generations. Now, as Eric's youngest brother, frequently I was on the receiving end of Eric's wrath. And most of that was pretty well deserved because I was the tattletale, and because as the oldest child, Eric was very responsible, and kind of Dad forced him to kind of help us toe the line. So he had no choice but to beat the snot out of us, I guess. But some of my earliest memories of Eric, besides him stuffing me under bean bags or throwing brooms at us, I actually remember playing football with Eric out in this big back field of our backyard behind our house. And this was actually the more compassionate side of Eric. I don't even know if he'll remember this, but he threw me this huge bomb. I was probably, 7 years old, and he was 14, and it just completely hit my face, and my nose started bleeding. And Eric was actually very compassionate and kind of took good care of me and everything like that. But that's probably the only compassionate, tender moment that I remember of Eric. But I remember when he left us to begin his desire to pursue the Air Force and all that it would mean for him. And I'll never forget, actually, the day he graduated from the Air Force Academy. So I'm probably, 15 at the time. Eric's 22, 23, somewhere around there. And I'll never forget just being so proud of Eric. Almost so proud that I'm just in tears. Just wondering if I'll ever be able to live up to everything that he has achieved, and how he was just able to pursue his goals despite great adversity. I remember in college driving all across the great state of Kansas to visit Eric in Colorado Springs and hang out with him and just enjoy being with him, spending time in the beautiful city of Colorado Springs. I'll never forget Eric being at our wedding. I'll never forget just even when I began to deploy overseas, I would have to make stops over at Ramstein, and there Eric would greet me. He was at Stuttgart at the time, and he would greet me, and we would enjoy a cigar together and just talk about life, and just how I looked forward to that, whether I was before going overseas or coming back home from overseas. Eric would meet me, and we would just have 2 to 3 hours of fellowship and just friendship together, always over a cigar. And that's really the amazing thing about us Winton boys, because the saddest thing is that none of us could be there with you today, Eric. And it really does break all of our hearts. I'll never forget all of us being at Dad's retirement ceremony. And I'll never forget having to shake everybody's hands. It's that's really why I didn't want to come today. I just didn't want to shake hundreds of people's hands. No, just kidding. But, this is such a big deal, Eric. And because you're the older brother, you've really paved the way for all of your younger siblings. Just not in the things that you've done, but in the ways that you've done that. You've lived true to who we are as Wintons. And kind of the amazing thing, one of our other great memories, I know I'm kind of all over this place, I don't have a script, but my brother Doug, my cousin Joel, Eric, and myself and I were all captains at the same time. And of course now I'm a major, Eric's a lieutenant colonel getting ready to retire, so I guess I'm kind of behind the power curve. But what's amazing is we all got together and took these formal pictures to kind of capture this really incredible time that we have as a family. And then we got in our duty uniforms and went to the we went to the Vietnam Memorial where my dad had served in Vietnam, and we went to the Korean War Memorial where my grandfather had also served not only in World War II, but the Korean War. So many of our memories revolve around the service. Probably the last time we were all together, and my wife is helping me film this, so she's going to zoom in, hopefully, on this picture, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but this was the last time we were all together, and you probably won't be able to tell, but we all have cigars in our hands, and this was at Eric's Assumption of Command ceremony. And again, Eric has kind of been the trendsetter, the pace man for us siblings, kind of setting the example of leadership and opportunity and command. And on the side of this picture, it says, "We serve." And you can zoom back out, babe. Thank you. And why that's so important is because that's such a huge part of our family. And it's what you have done so well these past 23 years, Eric. You have served well. When Eric was in Korea, we were toying around with our family about getting a family coin. And because service meant so much to Eric and to our family, and because family meant so much to Eric and to all of us, Eric actually was kind of, again, the pace setter to get these coins made for our entire family. So on the front of these coins, it has these attributes: duty, integrity, service, loyalty, honor. And on the front of the coin, there's an American flag and an eagle that says, "God bless America." And on the back of this coin is our family crest. And on the top of the coin, it says, "We serve." And on the bottom of that coin, it says, "A family tradition." Part of a family tradition is that because of our service to our nation, that unfortunately we're not always able to be there for life events. My brother Doug didn't make my wedding. I didn't make any of Doug's change of command ceremonies. And unfortunately, none of us are there to be with Eric during this time. However, that does not diminish from the reality, Eric, that you have served your nation, the Air Force, and your Winton heritage well. But the other amazing thing is not the fact that we're not there. The amazing thing is that as you close your service to your nation, Marcy and Durand are standing there right beside you. And that is a tribute to the fact that they have served you well and that you have served them well. And that really is a bigger legacy than even anything that you've done for the Air Force. The sake of family, serving one another, and serving our nation, even in the midst of great sacrifice. So we're extremely proud of you. We're extremely disappointed that we can't be with you, but we're extremely excited that you're coming to this side of the world again, and look forward to just seeing the amazing things that God has in store for you personally and for your whole family, and just for having good family fun together. So, Eric, well done, good and faithful servant.